say? I thought you were going to say I've got a brand new combine harvester.
I've got a brand new combine harvester. Who sang that?
And I'll give you the key. Wasn't it the Wurzels?
A complete knitting pattern written on papyrus.
Oh, stop.
By Susan B. Anderson.
It's a brilliant song. I want to listen to it now.
You don't want to... I mean, go and listen to it if you want to. That's implying Susan's really old.
No, I apologise, Susan.
Susan,
I didn't
you're
mean
watching.
That. I didn't mean that.
It doesn't mean that.
I didn't mean that at all.
Beautiful young lady.
Absolutely.
There was a Christmas nightclub.
I couldn't even say.
And you just went in and it was Christmas all year round. Yeah.
Straight out the oven.
Oh, that sounds wrong. Nothing in my oven.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
When archaeologists looked closely at them, someone thought that they could see Chagu.
It's chow goo.
Sorry.
I think, anyway.
A good look at Kay's sock stash.
Wow, that was good timing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. I love it. Welcome, everybody, to the Bakery Bears video show featuring, this is it now, no messing, final ever round of Knit or Forfeit.
Yes, it is.
Last time, I scored 15. Is it a good score?
We shall
Who
see.
knows?
We shall see.
Or dares to dream? But that is just the start of the things that we've got featured this time, because we have a huge surprise on the way.
We do.
Yes, later on in the show, we're going to take you somewhere very special to sit down with someone rather interesting for a little interview.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I'll tell you more about it as we get further through the show. But, like, something old today in Knit or Forfeit and something spanking brand new.
Yeah.
Straight out the oven.
Oh, that sounds wrong. Nothing in my oven.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
We've been there and we've done that.
Been there, done that, not doing it again. Too old.
What a 2 weeks we've had as well. I've got to say, at this time of year, I don't know about UK, but I feel like Santa and your Mrs. Claus getting ready for the Bakery Bears Advent Calendar 2024.
It's just a couple of days, isn't it?
I mean, like, the countdown is crazy. The countdown is like, it's really here now. It's like 48 hours away.
I know.
24 days of knitting and patterns. Rather exciting.
Yeah.
Also adventures.
Yeah.
Some solo, some together.
Some reading and
yes.
absolutely beautiful festive story.
It's going to be immense.
It's amazing story.
We had a patron-only show, a pre-launch show, just the other day, and it was like, the atmosphere was electric.
It was.
But Christmas was almost ruined.
Was it?
Before it had even begun.
Why?
Brennan.
Oh.
Christmas, I don't know about you, there are some classic films that you sit down and watch, aren't there?
Yes.
Might be It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
Maybe, if you're in America, It's a Christmas Story. Because over here, that film just doesn't travel.
No.
It's strange. It's a bit like, what's the drink that you can't drink outside of Ireland?
Guinness.
Thank you very much.
I've had Guinness in Ireland and it's fantastic. It is the most delicious drink ever. Does not taste the same over here. If you want Guinness, go to Ireland.
And you should know, because you're half Irish.
I'm half Irish.
There you go.
Yes.
So yes, there are some things at Christmas that we sit down and we love to watch. For us, definitely Elf, definitely.
Yes.
I mean, tradition. Spirited. I mean, okay, so you go to the top drawer.
I know.
The very tippity top of the drawer.
Yes.
But I made a confession to Kay this morning. There is a film that I love more than I realised that we nearly couldn't watch this
We nearly
Christmas.
couldn't watch it.
The panic was
It was
palpable.
real. It was real, let me tell you.
Have you been in this position where, and this is the whole problem with streaming services, this is the whole problem with people holding on to their product and not allowing you to purchase it.
Yeah.
So you go, you start typing it in, and first of all, it's not like typing it on a keyboard.
No.
You've got to get each letter individually on your controller. Oh. So I started typing in Christmas in Vienna, and what came up? Nothing.
Not
Panic.
there. Not there.
Sheer terror.
Because we watched it last year, like twice.
And the year before.
And the year before, was
Yeah,
it
yeah,
really?
yeah,
Right, okay.
And Christmas in Vienna stars Brennan Elliott, who anyone who saw our first video show of the year
We love him.
would know how much we love him, and also would know that I have conversed with him on Instagram, but sadly he's left Instagram.
It's not on Instagram anymore.
Anyway.
We don't know why.
So Brennan Elliott, leading man, and he's a leading man and a half.
Oh, he really is. He's so dashing in it.
Yes.
Oh,
But then also Sarah Drew.
Sarah Drew.
Who's
now,
excellent.
Sarah Drew is very excellent. If you watched Everwood, and I did, Sarah Drew is in Everwood, and she plays a fantastic part in Everwood. She's brilliant. And she's in Christmas in Vienna,
And she's
playing
just
an
stupendous.
equally fantastic part.
She's absolutely stupendous.
She's really good.
Perfect setting, great cast, because
Yeah.
the rest of the cast, pretty much, apart from a couple of the children, the rest of the cast are all Austrian.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think if you look at the production,
Right.
what they've done is they've gone out and they've gone, right,
Yeah.
okay, the cheapest way to do this, quite rightly,
is to get
and the right way to do
actors
this,
from Vienna.
if we're filming in Vienna, let's use actors from there.
Because it's all filmed in Vienna.
What a
At
city.
Christmas. It's beautiful.
Can I just put a call out? If there's any viewer
Yeah.
who's in Vienna, please raise your hand and say hello.
Yes.
Because
You're so lucky. It looks like the most beautiful city.
if we love to travel, which we don't, we'd be there
We
in a
would
heartbeat.
definitely go to Vienna.
I
Oh,
would
my
go to
goodness.
Vienna quicker than I would go back to Rome.
Yeah, I mean, the sort of Christmasness of it as
Yeah.
well just look fantastic. But
Just amazing. So look, Panic. We can't watch it.
Can't watch it.
I'm like, there is no way I can get through this Christmas without watching Christmas in Vienna. So Kay bought for me last Christmas an imported copy of Jesus Christ Superstar, the one with John Legend in it. And that works.
it does work.
Kay did a lot of research.
I did.
And she found out that this particular, because imported DVDs and Blu-rays don't work in this country.
No, different region.
Yeah, similarly European don't
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
So we're like, what are we going to do? Because we can't even buy it on DVD because it is available on DVD in America. So I thought, hold on a minute, that one worked. Let's see if I can find one that's exactly the same. I did. It arrived.
But not only that,
2 other films.
it's got 3 films on it. Hallmark do these sort of DVDs where there's 3 films. And the other
It's
2
a Christmas
films,
bundle, Kay.
Well, the other 2 films, one of them is brand new, only came out last year, and we couldn't watch it. I think we bemoaned the fact that we couldn't watch it, and it's Lacey Chabert and Scott Wolf. And if you know Party of 5 from back in the day, you'll know that they were in that together. And they made a Christmas film last year set in
Amazing.
Scotland. I've actually watched it already.
It's not
Yeah,
Christmas
so
in
there's,
Vienna, though,
there's
is it, Kay?
3. No, it's not Christmas in Vienna. Christmas Vienna is just like, you know,
Honestly-
if you can get it on Hallmark over in America, you know, have a look now.
Well, I have a feeling the reason why they've removed
Get yourself sat down and watch it.
it. I mean, seriously, it
We've
comes.
already watched it. We're
It
gonna
comes
watch
through
it.
the door.
We're going to watch it again
Yes.
with Bryony.
Twice.
Yes.
It comes through the door. Literally, I dropped everything.
He did.
Ripped it open, ran upstairs, put it
Put it
straight in
in.
the machine. Didn't even tell Kay it had arrived because I didn't want to disappoint her. Put it in, and there on the screen, there, look, this is what I saw. Yes, it's Brennan and it's Sarah, and I knew
There
then.
is the very dashing Brennan. He plays like a diplomat, and he plays very well.
I knew that
very
we were
well.
safe.
Yes.
Look, that's enough Christmas excitement. Because this is a show and a half. Yes, lots of what's on, lots of what's off. A good look at Kay's sock stash.
Wow, that was good timing, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
I know, I love it. And yes, a surprise segment coming later on the show. So, without further ado, I will say, Kay Jones, what's on your needles?
Well, I've got a very exciting trilogy of projects. So my first project is a brand new cast on. Have I reached 50 yet?
I don't know. Don't ask me questions I can't answer sat here.
What did that say on the screen? Oh, exciting. So this project, right, came about. How did this project come about? There's a couple of things, actually, that inspired this project. And the first is that, I mean, when Bryony comes home now, and before she left for university, we would always be watching the Gilmore Girls. And we've watched it through, I don't know, twice fully, I think. And I think we're now on the 3rd watching through. And, this is set in, it's the early 2000s, isn't it? Gilmore Girls. And in a lot of the scenes, Lorelai and Rory wear these little skinny scarves, right? And I kind of remember when these were, I don't know, I mean, maybe they've always been a fashion, because they're not really kind of for warmth, are they? It's more of a accent piece, I would guess. And I remember Lorelei in particular wore one that I really liked, and at one point I was going to take a photo of that and try and find the colours because it was striped. And I was going to try and find the colours in my stash and make one for Bryony that was the same, with the same colours. But I thought I might just get a bit bored, knitting the same, however many colours it was, 4, 6, whatever. Just knitting those and cutting my yarns and all of that business. I thought, I might just get a bit bored. So I didn't do it at the time. But I was going through my stash recently and I've got loads of leftovers of self-striping yarn. I'm sure that all of us have really, haven't we? And, obviously you can make scrappy socks with them and they're beautiful. But I just thought, I suddenly remembered that skinny scarf thing. And this that I've got loads of self-striping. And not only do I have leftovers, so for example, this one, I've already put a bit of this one in. I knit Bryony some socks in this one. I think this was from Stripy Cat Yarns, who I don't think is dying right now, which is a shame. And I think this one was Beauty and the Beast themed, and I did knit socks for Bryony in this. So yeah, and there's quite a lot of that left, obviously. And then this one is Big Top from Fab Funky Fibres, and I used this one for the pattern sample for the fairground socks. So, all of these leftovers, but I also had a huge bundle of mini self-striping yarns from Moustache Yarn, and it's all the Star Wars colourways that she's done. And I bought these a year or two ago with the intent, I just wanted them. I don't know that I really had any sort of intention. I just thought, I can make scrappy socks for Bryony and for Dan. And of course, I've never done it and they've just sat in my stash. So I've got all of these. It's all of the ones like the Bounty Hunter, Hope of the Galaxy, which is Luke, I believe, Yoda inspired. So I've got all of those. And then I've also recently, I was lucky enough to be sent the Halloween advent from Polka Dot Creek, and that was themed on Hocus Pocus. Words escape me. So I've got all of these minis. These ones were 10 grams each. I put them just in a Ziploc. So I thought, do you know what? I could make a scrappy, skinny, stripy scarf. That's fun to say. Try saying that 4 times quickly. With all of these leftovers of self-striping, and I thought what I will do is I will knit 1 repeat of each of the striping yarns, cut it, pick up another one, knit 1 repeat, so that it will look, actually, I'll have to repeat the colours, I'm sure, at some point, but it will kind of look like some eclectic self-striping thing, and I just thought that'd be so fun. So that's what I'm doing. So here it is. So here's where I'm up to so far. Oh my goodness. So I started at the bottom here with, I think this one is Freckled Whimsy. I'm pretty sure this is Freckled Whimsy, and I think it was called Spooky Kitty Remix. Yeah, I apologise if it's not Freckled Whimsy, but I think it is. So that's this bottom bit with the, the yellow, the green, the black, grey and orange. And then I went into Big Top, which is that one I've just mentioned, which is this section here. The repeat on this is huge, and actually I don't think I quite got to the end of the repeat, but I'd knit this whole big section, so I thought, right, I'll stop there. And then I put in, isn't this interesting? So this little bit here is that one that I showed you, the Beauty and the Beast one, and it's a full repeat. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 colours. But look how skinny the stripes are. It's only this little bit here is the full repeat. And then you get this massive one here that's the full repeat. I just think it's so interesting how dyers use that sort of self-striping concept and just come up with different things. I think it's just really cool. These 3 stripes here, the purple, yellow and then the red, that's one of the Polka Dot Creek. And now I've just started working a repeat of A Very Hobbit Christmas from Moustache Yarns. This is leftovers from socks I've knitted. I've actually knitted 2 pairs of socks out of this. One of them is in my sock stash, actually, that I'll show you later. And this one from Moustache, it's actually in her shop right now. This one I noticed. And I nearly bought another one, and I thought, no, don't buy another one. But this one, A Very Hobbit Christmas, it's 24 different stripes. I mean, how fantastic is that? And it's all beautiful. So from, where does that one start? From this dark green here, that's the start of A Very Hobbit Christmas. So I think I've got a full repeat here left. So I'll be able to get that in. And then, I'll choose another. I might have a Star Wars one next. That might be fun. So what I did, I'm knitting it on double points, you can see, in the round. So it's just like a big long sock. And I thought, well, how many stitches do I want to cast on? Because it could have been skinnier than this, I suppose. But look how fun it's going to be. Look. How fun is that going to be around your neck? I think it's just going to be so cool. So it could have been skinnier, but I didn't want to make it like a pain to knit. If there was too few stitches, it can be a bit like, I don't know. I wanted it to feel like a sock. So what I decided to do is to cast on 56 stitches, but I'm using 2.75 millimetres just to give a bit more of a floppy gauge, so it's not too stiff.
What is it, Kay?
I don't know. I do like a sort of firmer fabric. Do you know what I mean? I'm just not keen on seeing like really gappy stitches.
No.
But 2.75 with fingering weight is perfectly fine, I don't know what my gauge is on it. I haven't measured it because it doesn't matter, does it? So I just cast on with double points. I'm using my favourite higher. Yes, they are higher bamboo. Cast on 56 stitches and just started knitting. As simple as that. I will probably put on some fringe. I think it calls for a bit of fringing. And I'm just going to keep knitting until it's long enough to, because this will be for Bryony, and then I want one as well. So I want it to be long enough for her to sort of put round her neck and then to wrap around her neck. Do you know what I mean? Or to double, like this one, to double it and then loop it through. So I want it to be long enough for that. So it needs to be quite long. But really, it's so fun, isn't it? You could just go on forever. And I've just been weaving in my ends as I go. So whenever I change yarns, I knit a few rounds and then just go back and weave in the ends, and it's no bother. You can leave them quite long, actually, because it's inside and nobody sees it. So that's really no trouble. I think it would make a great December project as well, because it's just, you're just knitting a big, long tube, aren't you? And so it's just like knitting the leg of a sock, which I know that's the favourite part for a lot of people. And you just get to play with all of these lovely yarns, and that for me is just the best thing. I've got some nice ones in here. Look, I've got the leftovers of Dan's rainbow socks. This one was from Creolien Design, I think it is. And I knit socks for Dan in this one, so that's going to be fun to put in rainbow ones. I've got this one, which I think it was a watermelon. I carried a watermelon?
Yes, that is one.
I think it's I carried a watermelon.
I can't believe it. I know these colourways as well as you know them.
Yeah, I carried a watermelon, so I've got that to put in. Oh, I've got the one that I just knit Bryony socks with, the Halloween one from Polka Dot Creek, the slimy colourway. That's going to be fun. Yeah, and then all of these Star Wars ones, obviously, and all of the Halloween Polka Dot Creek ones. So, and it's so much fun. And it's been housed in my pudding bag from lovely Emma at Moo and Mouse, because I used this for my Advent designs, which are obviously complete for me now, so I could use the bag for something else. And I know Emma made some of these and had them in her shop recently. They would have all sold, I'm absolutely certain. But I'm sure she'll bring them back next year. But it's just lovely. And
no pressure.
No pressure, Emma, with that. I've adorned it with this. Can you see this beautiful brooch here? Can you see that? The Christmas tree. I bought this in York, in the Christmas shop in York. Do you know the German Christmas shop?
Cafe Wolfheart.
There you go. on Stonegate, isn't it? And I just thought, I'm going to put that on a project bag. It wasn't cheap, but then nothing in that shop is cheap. It's an expensive shop, everybody. But we've said that before. But I just thought, how beautiful would that look on a project bag? And I've pinned it over a Christmas tree on the bag. So I'm loving having this bag as well because it houses all of these fantastic minis. So I hope somebody else out there casts on one of these. It'll be so fun to see everybody's. So yeah, that's my scrappy, stripy, skinny scarf.
Excellent.
Dan Jones?
Yes.
What's on your needles?
This is the Heartleaf birch hat.
Yes.
And I've really been trying so hard to get this finished, and I'm really close, and I am going to finish it next time. This will be finished. I must just say how much. First of all, I think this pattern is brilliant. It's also free.
Yes.
I mean,
amazing,
she's honestly
isn't it,
done a really brilliant job because it's clear. I think it's really, really well designed, particularly the decreases. I'm doing the decreases now,
really?
and I think that they're just superb.
Oh, that's good. They're always tricky. Decreases with cables, it's always a bit of a...
They're so well placed and good, and just everything about it. I couldn't sort of go on. Also, as well, what I've really been enjoying is I expected the cables to be similar to those that are in Declan's hat, and that just shows you how naive I am when it comes to cables. And, you know, it set me thinking I've not knitted enough cables. You know, I did a lot on the Irish Coffee.
Yeah.
I did a lot on the Samantha. I did an awful lot on the Samantha, actually.
Yeah.
But
these are beautiful.
That's really it. And I know what I need to do. After I finish knitting myself the Albion, I need to do myself a cable jumper.
Oh, do you know, I was looking at Aran jumpers the other day.
Right.
You know, like traditional sort of more not old-fashioned's the wrong word, but not one of these sort of modern interpretation things. You know, like a good traditional Aran jumper. Yeah. Beautiful, yeah.
Well, the yarn is Malabrigo Rios, and
it's glitter. It's the colourway, and isn't it just fabulous?
It's great. It's great using the Cubics DPNs, which are perfect for projects like this.
It's gorgeous.
And you know, I've got about 10 rounds to go, and in a minute I'm going to start decreasing like an absolute nutcase.
It'll be cuffed like that.
And Kay's demanded the hat, so so long as it fits.
This.
I'm sure
there's no reason it won't fit,
especially with it being cuffed. It's just very long. I would highly recommend it if you fancy knitting a hat like this.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Great gift hats, I think, because it's
what this was, if you recall. I was knitting it for Dom, and then you stole it.
Yeah, I stole it. Good for a man or a woman. Yeah.
What else is on your needles?
So my next project is another new cast on. Problem is, I've been casting on all these things and not finishing other things, but you know, we'll address that later. So in my lovely little festive bag, I've shown you this before, but I made this bag from this piece of embroidery that I created for Summer of Stitching, not this summer, last summer. Would that be right?
Yeah.
So I made it into this lovely festive bag, and I used, these fabrics are gorgeous. I used Liberty, but it's quilting cotton. It's not the Tana lawn. I like quilting cotton for bags. It's just a bit more substantial. And the prints are all just beautiful. I'm knitting a pair of Christmas socks for Bryony.
Oh, that's fun.
Yay. And I've actually finished one, and I'm on the leg of the other. That's how quick these socks are and how fantastic. So, of course, Bryony asked for fairground socks because that's all she wants. So when she was here, she came home a couple of weekends ago just for a quick visit, and I said, right, let's choose some self-striping then. And she chose this one. And this was a new shipment that I just received from Freckled Whimsy. I'm in her yarn club. I only got into it, I think there was only like 2 Halloween ones left. So I only got 2 of the Halloween ones. The Christmas one has finished. The Halloween one is continuing. So, yeah, but this one was the final Christmas one. And it is, it says on it, A Christmassy Yarn Club number 12, November 2024. And it was called Merry Christmas, Everyone, Freckled Whimsy. And I got this on the Splendid base, which is the base that I like to dye on as well. It's the 8515, Really lovely. And it came with a matching mini. So the colours are lovely. There's something a bit strange going on though, and I don't know if it's deliberate. So I'd be interested to hear, if Carrie happens to watch this, then she can obviously tell me. But if anybody's knit it, if this has happened for you, because I don't know if this is deliberate or not. It might be, it might not be. I just don't know. But anyway, here's the yarn. It's really pretty. It's a mixture of greens, gold, and then this kind of purplish cranberry-ish colour. And it's a 6-striper, I think. Yes, 6-stripe repeat. So I'll show you the first sock, which I have completed. And it's just lovely. So here we go. And see if you can spot something about it. I love the colours. It's sort of like a vintage Christmas look, isn't it? Don't you think? Seeing it like that, it looks quite vintage. Because the mini came in this lovely green. So it's the Fairground socks, just knit exactly to pattern. I've used my butterfly heel and it's got the umbrella toe. But can you see, it jumps out at me straight away. This green stripe here is not the same as this green stripe. So when I looked through the skein, I think what it looks like to me is that every alternate lighter green is this sort of much brighter one. So the next one, I didn't get to the next green in this, but the next green along is this brighter one. And I don't know whether that's intentional or not.
It must be.
It's got to be, hasn't it? And I've just never had a self-striping yarn where one of the colours changes like that every other stripe.
I think it's sort of cool.
Well, I showed it to Bryony and she's like, oh, I like it. So I don't dislike it. But I was like, is it my eyes?
It just shows you, doesn't
it,
when someone just breaks from the norm just slightly.
Yeah. It makes it look sort of cool and funky, doesn't it?
Yeah,
having a brighter green stripe here. And so I'm knitting the second sock right now and I'm on about halfway down the leg, I would say. Oh, I love the colours. They're so nice. And I've actually matched these exactly. I don't normally bother, but I did this time because I didn't want to, like, for example, I didn't want to end the leg with that same green and then go into the heel. I wanted to make sure it was separated off. So when I looked at the colours, I kind of planned it to make sure that I wouldn't end the leg on that same heel green colour. So yeah, they match. But I think they're going to be beautiful Christmas socks. And I only cast this one on, I don't know, day before yesterday. And I'm already there. They're just so quick. They honestly knit themselves. I'm quite pleased Bryony loves them so much because they just are so quick to knit. You know, I can't think of a nicer thing to do with self-striping. Because now, I know the pattern anyway because I designed it. But I'm sure anybody who's knit this a lot, you'll know what I mean when I say that it's sort of like knitting a vanilla sock because there's nothing sort of complex. It's got a really lovely rhythm to it. And you knit 4 rounds really quickly. And you're like, oh, I'm back to doing that again. And it just sort of comes really, really quick, through the pattern. Really lovely project. Beautiful yarn. The yarn's lovely. I know this base really well because I dye on it a lot. It's really plump. It's really soft. It's kind of a little bit plumper than a normal 75-25. There's not as much nylon, so obviously it's not going to be quite as hard wearing. But I don't generally have a problem with Bryony socks with wear. I don't recall really ever getting holes in them. I think because she's got so many pairs, she's very good at alternating through them, so they don't really wear out. What tends to happen with her socks is the colours will just fade over time, because they've been washed so much, and they'll start to look a bit felty and a bit old. So generally that's the point they get to, rather than holes. But just lovely, lovely project. I'm doing it magic loop. I'm using 2.5mm, and this is an Addy lace. It's my current favourite, I would say, for magic loop. I go through phases, but I like Addies at the moment.
Yes, sorry.
What else are you knitting,
I'm
Mr.
knitting
Jones?
my Albion.
Mr. Daniel Jones, who...
I think he's going to sign with the Vikings.
Oh, is he really?
Well, I don't know. Daniel Jones was the quarterback. I'm sure you'll all know. Loads of you will know. It was the quarterback for the New York Giants.
All hail the New York Giants.
And he got released, and so everyone is now sort of clamouring to sign him. And the day he got released, I said to Kay in the morning that if I was the Lions, and I wasn't saying this because he has the same name as me, and I love the Lions. I said it because if I'm the Lions, the only concern I have about getting to the Super Bowl and potentially winning is something happen to my quarterback. So I would want to have as good a backup as I possibly can. And so I said, if I was the Lions, I would be absolutely on this guy and potentially signing him. What did we see that tea time? A news report saying? And I was speechless. Because I was just thinking, and maybe it'll happen. It would be wonderful if it happened.
Oh, I'm all over that shirt.
I think...
Your Daniel Jones shirt, Lions, come on. They need to do it for us, don't they?
I think, I think Vikings strong contender also could be 49ers. Could even be the Ravens. But I don't know why it goes to the Ravens. I can't imagine Lamar Jackson getting injured. But anyway, I'm knitting Albion by Michelle Wong, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. And I'm worried I'm going to run out of yarn, but I'm sure I'll finish the jump.
This is Dan's first
Yarn
ball, and he's just about to finish it. Look how much he got.
That's amazing.
Oh, the colour's showing really nicely because the light's coming in.
The pattern's so clever because it's not difficult. There's a lot of change going on.
Difficult.
There's always something going on every round. Michelle's just so clever because she's just super stylish and she just puts in really cool
classic
elements.
She's I think her designs are just sort of classic.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Cascades, but easier.
Yeah, definitely.
I missed the challenge, to be honest, with the Cascades a tiny bit because that was sort of really cool. I'm really, really, really enjoying knitting this. The yarn's perfect. Everything about the project's perfect. And it's one of those projects which you just want to keep on knitting. And that's really cool. I'll be honest, I've got so used to knitting the bodies of the Let Lopes where it's just plain knitting round and round. And I love that because you're looking at the fabric and it's lovely and the yarn, isn't it marvellous? And you're thinking about your technique because the Let Lope is, you've got to think about your technique when you're using it. But to be knitting here with a yarn where I'm not needing to think about my technique in the sense of how tight am I pulling the yarn, I'm focused solely on doing a really good job on the knits and the pearls.
It looks great.
So it's a different type of knitting, equally as fun and enjoyable, and in a way more fun and enjoyable because of the fact that you're doing something on the body.
Yeah, it just looks lovely. And the yarn is Cascade 220, just good old Cascade 220.
So the idea behind this is I want to get to a point where I feel confident enough to knit a Gansey on the proper DPNs. So that's the reason why I'm doing lots of DPN needle projects. That's the reason why, Aaron Harper Gansey wasn't a Gansey at all. That was me just knitting a... Yeah. This is my first sort of step towards getting up to that point. And it's a great starting point because I'm using all the sort of techniques with the knits and the pearls and the different motifs in the sections. So it's a great starting point.
It's lovely.
And I'm loving it.
The colourway is Midnight Heather. It's 9449. And it's just lovely. And you wanted a lighter weight jumper. This will be lighter weight compared to the Let Lope. You can just tell by feeling the fabric.
Well, I just like a jumper that I could wear in the house.
And I think you could.
So I do too.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I'm going to feel like one of your teddies.
One of my teddies?
Because you knit the jumpers for the Bakery Bears in this.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I've knit Bakery Bears in Cascade 220. I knit loads of Bakery Bears in Cascade 220.
So I'll have to go and get one of the ones with one of your lovely jumpers.
Yeah,
Mini jumpers and the big jumpers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be funny.
No, it is a really good yarn for toys because it's 100% wool. And when you knit it at that sort of tight gauge that you need for toys, the fabric is just great. It's really hard wearing,
Oh, well, that's a good sign for jumpers, then.
Yeah, definitely. I've forgotten that I use this a lot for Bakery Bears.
You made me think of, Yes, I See You Cry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember the name of the song. It's Eternal.
We've been listening to Heart Xmas. I don't know if anybody else listens to this. I have a bit of an issue with the word Xmas.
Yeah, so do I.
I don't really like it. I don't know where it came from. I'm not keen on it. But anyway, Yeah, Heart Xmas. And it's just all Christmas music. Most of it, I would say, is lovely. And we had, but was it Boney M we were listening to this morning?
We had it on this morning and it felt like we were in a Christmas nightclub.
And then I said to Dan, oh, wouldn't that be fabulous if there was a Christmas nightclub?
There would be. I couldn't even say.
And you just went in and it was Christmas all year round.
Speaking of
tinselled up, I need to talk about my third project, which is a new cast-on. Oh, now, this is an unexpected pleasure, right?
Sounds like me.
True. First of all, I didn't realise this at the time, but my bag perfectly matches the yarn, which just adds to the joy, doesn't it? Dan doesn't get this, but I do.
No, I do. Terrifying snowman.
Oh, I don't know where I got that snowman from. I just put it on there because... Why is he terrifying? Is he terrifying, that snowman? I don't think he's terrifying. I think he's quite cute. But anyway, this bag... I made this bag back in the day when I was actually making bags to sell. And I did sell quite a lot of these with this fabric. So, I don't know. Somebody out there might have the same bag. And I added on these lovely hearts as well, which I adorned with some beads.
Ooh, that's your word of the day.
Have I said that before?
Twice before.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I know. Yes.
I am not saying that word anymore now. That's it. But my yarn absolutely perfectly matches this bag, right? So I'm knitting down some Christmas socks, which is very exciting.
It's very, very exciting.
And for a little while I've had a hankering to try a yarn again.
Do you have an apology to make, Kate?
Look, I'm an open book when it comes to yarn. You know that. I will tell you as it is. I will say it as it is, or how I find something. I tried this yarn a little while ago and I didn't like it.
Was that the one that was thick and thin?
Yes.
Is this thick and thin?
No. Well,
interesting.
Only I've only had it once or twice. I can deal with that.
Right.
So the yarn I'm talking about is West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply, and the colourway that I'm using is Robin. Now, I can't remember what yarn I was using when I was trying to knit with this before, but I didn't like it because it kept going really skinny, really thin, and it was a lot. You know, I wasn't exaggerating when I spoke about that previously.
No, I saw it. It was awful.
It went really skinny and I just wasn't enjoying knitting with it. But it was this colourway, to be honest. This particular colourway I've just always loved, and I just had a real hankering to knit some socks out of it. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to give it another go because I'm all for that. I never completely shut the door on something. You know, even if you don't like something one time, you might go back to it and your opinion might have changed, your preferences might have changed, whatever. But I'm going to give it another go. So yeah, this is the Robin colourway. I've wound it into a cake. And it's just this beautiful self-patterning, I would say, rather than self-striping. You'll know, if you know this yarn, you'll know what I mean. It's a self-patterning. What I really love actually is... very festive. Do you see the cream colour? It's not bare yarn. It is a dyed colour. It's like a very subtle sort of clotted cream, but maybe a bit darker than that. It's a colour anyway, like a soft beige. So you get this background sort of neutral. There's then a dark brown, a red, a grey, and like a sort of nutmeggy colour. It's really lovely. And I bought, to match it, I spent ages actually, and this is I don't know if anybody knows of anywhere that does tell you this, but I think it would be useful. I even looked on West Yorkshire Spinners' website, couldn't see anything immediately. But what would be good is if there was a list somewhere that told you which coordinating colours match best to these self-patterning yarns. Because there was a few reds. I'm using Rouge, which is a bit bright. I think the one that might be better, but I'd need it in my hand, is it Cayenne Pepper? That one looked like it might be a better match. And then there's also another red. Is it Holly Berry? But I don't think that one would work. I think that would be too dark. But anyway, I got Rouge and I've used that one, and it's fine, but it is a bit of a deeper red. The red in the yarn slightly leans more orangey, but it's not orange, but you know what I mean. So this is where I'm up to on the sock. I'm really enjoying it. Like, really enjoying it. I'm using double points, and isn't it just lovely? So I've put in a heel flap and a heel turn, but because it's sort of self-patterning, self-striping, I always use a square turn when I'm using this sort of a yarn, because a square heel turn leaves you with less stitches than a traditional sort of French turn, which means there's less stitches to decrease and therefore less disruption over your gusset. And I've actually, you don't want disruption over your gusset. So I've finished the decreases, and you can see, really, I don't think there's that much disruption here at all. I think it looks really good. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Now, I will preface this by saying I have had a couple of times the yarn has gone a bit skinny, but it has only been a couple of times so far. Whereas when I was knitting it before, I think I'd only done this much, and it was just happening all the time. So it could just be that maybe I got a dodgy batch. But, you know, I wanted to come back and say, do you know what? I've given this another go, and I am really enjoying it. And I think this is going to make a really nice pair of socks for Dan. Really nice, hopefully hard wearing. I feel like the fabric is maybe a tiny bit softer than like an opal, because it's a 75-25, but 35% of the 75 is Blueface Leicester. So Blueface Leicester is a lovely yarn, isn't it? And it is it's a longer staple, isn't it? So it's a little bit silky feeling. So I think it's that I'm feeling in the fabric. But I just think they look lovely, don't they? And I think that red looks nice. It took me ages to decide what colour to use as the heel and toe, because I could have gone grey, could have gone brown. They do have a colour that's similar to this sort of caramelly colour, so I could have tried that. Milk Bottle, which is their cream, would not have matched, because this is not cream, this background, it's more of a beige. But I thought, no, it's Christmas, let's go with red, and I think it looks good.
I don't know about you, but when I was young, a Milk Bottle, to me, the sweet,
Oh, right.
was like a savoury muffin.
Oh, I liked Milk Bottles.
Oh, my goodness.
You didn't like them?
Oh, when a cherry cola bottle, a beer bottle, oh.
They're weird, the beer
It
bottles.
tastes yeasty. A cola bottle, yes. A milk bottle.
I liked them. It really makes me think of white mice, you know, the chocolate white mice.
Oh, it's totally different.
I loved those.
No, I get that.
Can you still get those?
You can't take the flavour of a white mouse and put it into something rubbery. You don't make rubbery flavoured chocolate, do you?
It was a weird texture, wasn't it?
The flavour was raw.
Sweet.
You can't make a milky flavoured.
No, it's difficult to make something taste like milk, isn't it? I think.
Horses for courses. Vanilla ice cream can be quite milky. I mean, I know it's got vanilla in, but, you know, again, that works. Don't try and plug in. It's like Heston Blumenthal with his silly...
Probably the problem is that milk doesn't really have that much of a strong taste, does it?
No, so don't make a sweet out of it.
So it's difficult to transfer that.
It's like trying to prove something. Look, isn't milk good?
Well, it is good.
I know it is.
It's very good for you.
Yes.
But I want a white mouse now. Quite partial. And I used to love a pink shrimp. They were my favourite. Pink shrimps.
Did you, Kay? We'll save that for another show.
Who else loved pink shrimps? Oh, yeah, I really love those. So, yeah, Dan's sock, loving it. Using 2.5mm double points. I knit a bit tighter on double points, so that's why I thought I'd give this a go, because, you know, if I get a slightly tighter gauge, I thought to myself, if I did get skinny bits, then that might help with wear in that. Yes, I'm just on the foot now, just working my way down, trying to get sort of 10 rounds a day done. And I don't know if these will be done for Christmas. If they're not, they're not. It doesn't really matter. Dan will get them when he gets them.
Cool.
But yeah, really enjoying them.
The moment has come to introduce the final ever segment of Knit or Forfeit.
Yes.
with a heavy heart, it's time to say goodbye to the first thing that sort of took us and carried us into all that you see today. So last time I scored 15. Will it be enough for me to wrestle the jewel-encrusted crown from Kay forever?
What do you think?
Let's find out. Knit or Forfeit is back, baby.
I better have the multiple choice.
Okay.
Because
Okay, multiple choice questions. Remember, to help us on our way, we have 3 lifelines.
who's Jeffrey? Who's that? Jeffrey D. Morgan.
Jeffrey. Who's Jeffrey? I like that.
Are you allowed?
Who will win? Let's find out as we play Knit or Forfeit. She starts with a number 1 on the board. Yes, she does. Yes, welcome back to Knit or Forfeit. Can you believe it?
No.
It was about 10 years ago that with all of your support, we took the plunge and started Bakery Bear Productions.
Yeah.
The first show that we developed was this. Yes, it was Knit or Forfeit. It debuted, I think it's 2015. It was early 2015.
Right, so it would have been 10 years next year.
10 years next year.
Right, okay.
So debuted early 2015.
It's had a good innings.
Absolutely a good innings. And it was in this position, exactly this position, that we sat down to do the very first episode. And today, we sit down to do the very last episode.
Yeah.
And what an exciting episode it's going to be, because at the end of today, we will know who wins this jewel-encrusted crown.
That would be me. Well, I shouldn't say that.
Last time-
Tempting fate.
Last time, for the first time ever, I went first.
You did?
Yes.
No one noticed.
No one noticed.
We thought people would be up in arms about it.
Kay's always gone first.
Yep.
And last time I went first.
Yeah.
So is that a good omen? Is that a bad omen?
Is that a good omen?
We're gonna find out.
Maybe I've jinxed it by doing that.
So what was my score last time? It was, of course, this 15.
Pretty good.
I did really good on the knitting questions, and I did pretty terrible on the general knowledge.
Yeah.
Apart from the
let's
speed
see.
round. So yes, this is of course Knit or Forfeit. The winner gets the crown and the loser forfeits the crown forever. Oh my goodness. So you know the rules. Yes, 10 questions, 6 on knitting, 3 general knowledge, 1 speed round. I scored 15. What will Kay score?
27,000.
All questions from previous rounds, of course, and I'll tell you, like Kay did, you were brilliant. I shall tell you what year each question came from,
Okay.
and I think I've avoided one specific year.
Oh, have you?
No face masks for me this time.
No, that's excellent. Well done.
So yes, this is it, folks. It's time for the very final round of Knit or Forfeit. Let's play. So this is it. The very final first question of any round that you will ever hear.
Nerve-wracking.
It is a knitting question. It is from 2018.
Right, okay.
And it's nice and simple.
Oh, right.
Very short.
Are you being funny when
No,
you say that?
I'm not.
Right, okay.
It is nice and simple. Stop looking at my
I
questions.
wasn't looking at your questions. I'm very close to you. I do apologise.
The question is this. What is honeycomb mesh? And this question, as I said before,
I've been asked this question before.
yeah, 2018.
There is a stitch, isn't there, that looks like... There's several stitches, actually, that look like honeycomb.
Right.
You can do them in a variety of ways. I don't fully understand how I'm supposed to answer the question.
That tells you that you need the answers.
What is it? Well, it's a knitting stitch that creates fabric that looks like honeycomb. I better have the multiple choice.
Okay.
Because...
Okay, multiple choice questions. Remembering, of course, as we covered in the introduction, that Kay has some lifelines, so she could use 50-50 if she wanted to, or any of the lifelines, of course. But what are the multiple choice answers? They are as follows. Is it A, an open mesh stitch pattern that forms hexagons when stretched? Is it B, a type of fusible fleece that resembles the look of a honeycomb? Is it C, a pattern available to buy from Ravelry by Cassandra Bibler? Or is it D, a technique used to decorate fabric which involves dipping honeycomb into paint and pressing it onto the fabric?
Okay, well, it's not B or D. You see, I don't know that I've ever seen a honeycomb stitch pattern that when you stretch it, it looks like hexagons. Because it's not always literal, is it, the honeycomb stitch? It's not always literal. You know, it doesn't...
Would you like to know if you got this right first time?
Yeah.
You did.
I got it right.
Yes.
Did I really?
And it didn't take you long either.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. Well, clearly I've lost 57,000 brain cells since then, which is probably true. Let's do 50-50 then.
Okay, she's pushed the button. Okay, 2 wrong answers have gone. That leaves 2 potentially correct answers. The first one is A, an open mesh stitch pattern that forms hexagons when stretched. And the second one is B, a type of fusible fleece that resembles the look of a honeycomb.
Well, I don't think it's B. I mean, I use fusible fleece and I've never recalled seeing anything like that. So I've got to go with A, haven't I? I've got to go with A.
Are you locking it in?
Yes.
It's locked in. She can't go back now. Does she start with a number 1 on the board?
No.
Yes, she does. Oh my goodness.
I can't believe I just got that right before.
Yeah, you knew.
I knew.
Yeah.
I didn't,
And of course, back then...
I didn't know now.
Back then, we didn't get 2 points if we went for it without hearing the answers.
Oh, right.
No,
okay.
that was before the rules changed.
Oh, well, I got it right. I
But what a
can't
great
use any
start.
more lifelines, can I? Question 1, that's just rubbish.
You still got a
I've
point.
used a lifeline already.
In the same episode.
Did everybody know that? Gosh, right.
In the same episode, another great question.
Okay.
And
In the same episode?
Yes, yes.
Right. We're just
Also-
reliving 2018.
Well, it's just too great a question. The ancient... Sorry, so here is question 2. The ancient city of Dura Europa in Syria has often been called the Pompeii of the desert. What was found by archaeologists in 1933, now held at Yale University, which might interest knitters?
Oh, this does sound vaguely familiar. The only thing that's coming to my head is a knitted sock. But I don't know for certain, so I better have the answers.
Okay, here are the potential answers. Is it A, a small knitted textile fragment dating from 200 to 256 AD? Is it B, a knitted child sock possibly originating from Egypt? Is it C, 2 short bone needles possibly from an ancient set of DPNs? Is it D, a complete knitting pattern written on papyrus?
Oh, stop.
By Susan B. Anderson.
That's implying Susan's really old.
No, I apologise, Susan.
Susan,
I
if
didn't
you're
mean
watching.
that. I didn't mean that.
It doesn't mean that.
I didn't mean that at all.
Beautiful young lady.
Absolutely, she is.
It's certainly not a knitting pattern written on papyrus.
By
I
Susan
would
B.
say.
Anderson.
It's definitely not by Susan. Although I'd like to think of Egyptians or Syrians knitting a pattern by Susan.
I know.
That would be delightful.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think it's the bone DPNs. I don't know, that just makes me giggle. I don't think it's that.
And when archaeologists looked closely at them, someone thought that they could see Chiagu.
It's chow goo.
Sorry.
I think, anyway. Right, I'm going to go with the sock. I'm going to go with the chow sock because that's what I said, didn't I? Originally, I said sock. So sock.
Okay, you're locking it in?
Yes.
Okay, so it's locked in. She can't go back now. I can tell you that you got this answer correct first time around.
Right.
In 2018. This time you have said B, a knitted child sock, possibly originating from Egypt.
I'm terrified now.
Last time you said A small knitted textile fragment dating from 200.
I got
You're
it wrong.
Oh no.
Oh no, I don't want to play this game anymore. I'm
no.
so rubbish. But they have found a sock somewhere.
Yes, that was found in York.
Oh, right, okay.
That was Nell Banding.
Bit of a distance from Syria.
Yes, it was a Viking sock.
Right, okay.
Okay, at least you're on the board, Miss Ford.
If I was in a pram, I'd be throwing my toys out now.
We're on to question 3
Okay.
from 2019.
19. No.
Which star of the US TV show The Good Wife lists their 2 passions as knitting and rollerblading? We were obviously in the good wife zone at that time.
We were, and now I can't remember anybody that's in it. I don't remember their names.
That's okay. I can give you the
I can
names.
see faces, but I can't. I don't.
Oh, I'd take the character names.
So is it the actor's name you're looking for, or the character?
I was looking for the actor, but I'll take the character.
I can't remember that either.
Okay.
Okay, give me the answers.
Okay, the possible answers are A. Archie Punjabi. B. Juliana Margulies. C. Chris Noth. Or D. Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Who's Jeffrey? Who's that? Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Jeffrey. Who's Jeffrey? I like that.
Are you allowed to tell me which character he was?
Yes, he's the private investigator who is the love interest of the good wife at the end of the series.
Very nice. Something in me is telling me that it's Archie Punjabi, who we love deeply, because she does voices on Postman Pat.
Yes, she's brilliant. Last time you got this wrong.
I got it wrong.
Yes.
But I can't remember what I said last time, so it's not really... Maybe I said Archie last time. Maybe that was my instinct then. Oh, this is terrible. I just don't know any of these. Okay, so I'm going to go with Julianne. Sorry, I'm getting her name mixed up. Juliana Margulies.
Juliana Margulies.
Juliana
Yes.
Margulies. I'm going to go with Juliana.
So B.
If it was B.
Locked in.
Yeah.
Okay. No going back now.
No.
Did she get it right? What did she say first time? Well, I'm going to tell you first of all if she got it right. Yes, she did.
Oh!
Last time you used similar deduction
Did I?
and went with the person you wanted it to be.
Yes.
And it was Juliana Margulies and not Archie Punjabi, who you said it was.
Did I?
Yes.
So
Yes.
clearly I want Archie Punjabi to knit and rollerblade.
Question 4.
4.
What type of knitting is the trellis stitch traditionally used in?
Trellis.
This is from 2019.
What type of knitting is the trellis stitch traditionally used in?
Remembering, of course, that if Kate thinks she knows and she doesn't want to hear the answers, she can go for it and get 2 points. Any thoughts on what it might be?
Well, a trellis stitch is going to look like a garden trellis, so a sort of crisscross lace
Okay.
situation, I would think. So you would think maybe a shawl, wouldn't you? But I'll need the answers.
So, question, what type of knitting is the trellis stitch traditionally used in? Potential answers are A, double knitting, B, lace knitting,
Oh,
C, colourwork knitting,
no.
or D, Aran knitting.
No, it's lace knitting. You see, if I knew it was a lace stitch, if I knew that was the sort of simple answer you wanted, then I would have got that right. I think that could have been worded differently, and I might have got a 2-pointer. But it's lace.
Locked in.
Yes.
Okay, she's confident.
Yes.
Is she right?
Yes.
No, she isn't.
What?
Traditionally, it was used in Aran knitting.
It must be one of those diamond cables then.
That I did on the Samantha.
Well, I don't care. Oh, no, I'm going back to bed.
So currently,
God.
we have 2 out of 4.
I didn't know that those crisscross... I thought that was like a diamond cable, a diamond stitch cable. I didn't know it was called a trellis stitch. If that is indeed the stitch that it's referring to.
Question 5, folks. Let's move swiftly on.
Don't want any more knitting questions.
Okay. So remember, this is the point where you can use your 2-pointer if you think you know. Okay, here we go with question 5.
Alright.
Helix knitting is a technique used to create single row stripes when knitting in the round. According to MarthaStewart.com, what is the minimum number of different coloured yarns needed for the technique to work?
I watched a documentary recently on Martha Stewart on Netflix. I think it was Netflix. It's very good, very interesting. I knew nothing about her.
And then we watched her cooking with Robin Williams.
I'm fully informed, and then we watched her cooking with Robin Williams, which
was hilarious.
Hilarious.
That's on YouTube.
But I really enjoyed it. If you know nothing about Martha Stewart like me, coming from the UK, it was really interesting. Okay. Well, I feel like it's sort of a trick question, and maybe Martha's more informed than me. But
Well,
I would have thought it's 2.
I would focus on the question, and it's specifically saying, according to MarthaStewart.com, what is the minimum number of different coloured yarns needed for the technique?
Well, hang on a minute though, because You can do helix knitting when you are alternating yarns, can't you? Do you know when you're using hand-dyed yarns? I've seen people knitting jumpers and knitting them in a helix when it's a hand-dyed yarn, so that you're alternating them. Well, you can't helix knit with one yarn. You can helix knit with one colour of yarn, but have two balls.
Correct.
So actually, it's got to be two, hasn't it? A minimum of two yarns. So I've just got to risk a 2-pointer, haven't I? Is my logic, everybody out there, I'm sure my logic is right with this, isn't it? And I'm sure what I've said is right. I've never done the helix thing, but I know you slip stitches, don't you? And blah, 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 do that. Because I don't really knit jumpers, I don't. Anyway, I think it's two. And I've just, look, I'm doing rubbish, so I've just got to go for it.
So we're going for it?
Two.
Okay.
Two. I'm going for a
Locked
2-pointer
Locked
with
in.
two.
Okay. So would you like to hear the potential answers, or do you just want to know?
No, just tell me the answers.
Okay,
What
so
were they?
you want to know the potential answers?
Yes.
So the potential answers were A, 4, B, 3, C, 1, D, 2. Is she correct? Yes, she is!
I was just about to have words with Martha Stewart, if that had been a different answer.
Kay, of course, went for this. Without hearing the answers, she'd already locked it in. She gets 2 points. So that means she's on 3. Woohoo! She's pulling it back, baby. The comeback is underway.
Come on, me and Martha.
We are on to question 6.
She looks fabulous for her age on that documentary, I will tell you.
Well, that's good.
She looked amazing.
So we're leaving Martha Stewart behind, and we're entering into the world of Led Zeppelin.
Oh no!
This question comes from 2021, and the question is, which wool takes its name from a region of South Asia which Led Zeppelin also sang a song about in a song which featured in their 1975 album Physical Graffiti?
Are you kidding me with this question? Are you absolutely kidding me with this? This is not a knitting question, this is a music question.
But this is a question I asked you.
Well, yeah, I would have argued that it was a rubbish question at the time, I'm sure. Give me the answers.
Okay, you're going to love these. The answer is A, premium acrylic,
Goodness sake.
B, guanaco, C, merino, D, cashmere.
It's cashmere.
You're looking
Final
at it.
answer,
You're
final
looking at it.
answer, final answer.
So this is D. It's answer D.
Yeah.
Kay has said cashmere.
It's cashmere.
You confident? It's locked in.
Yes.
Okay. Is she right? Yes, she is. And that's why I love her, baby. Oh yes.
Terrible question.
She knew as soon as she heard that is a Led Zeppelin song, and that makes you cool. So the knitting questions are in the books. You're 1 point behind where I was at this point. So I had 6 at this point, you've got 5.
Right.
So that's pretty good. You're doing okay.
It's not good enough.
The question is going to be, how are you going to do with the general knowledge?
Well,
Kay has chosen a green question, a blue question, and a brown question.
so green is science and nature, blue is geography, brown is art and literature.
Yes. So question 7 is a green question, and the question is this.
Come on.
What colour is the Hope Diamond?
If somebody had just asked me that, I would have presumed it was just a clear diamond, but maybe it's not, obviously, from the question. You would think it might be a coloured diamond, which I know are very rare. Okay, give me the answers.
So here are the multiple choice answers.
Yeah.
Is it A, orange? Is it B, green? Or is that the heart of the sea? What colour's the heart of the sea?
Ocean, darling.
Sorry.
Heart of the ocean, it's blue.
Oh, okay. Is it C, blue? Is it D, yellow?
Oh, right, so it is a coloured diamond then. Well, I've never heard. I know there are yellow diamonds. I've seen, not in flesh. I don't have any yellow diamonds, but I've seen them on like Antiques Roadshow and things. So I know that yellow diamonds exist. I've never heard of a blue or a green diamond. Because surely, I mean, I just never have. You know, a blue precious stone is a sapphire and a green one is an emerald, isn't it? I mean, I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm not aware of them. An orange diamond? I've never heard of an orange diamond either. The only one I've ever seen and heard of is a yellow diamond. I think you can get pink ones, but I'll go with yellow.
Okay.
Go with yellow.
So you're locking it in?
Yeah.
She said yellow. Is she correct? No, she's not.
Oh no.
It's blue, and here it is.
A blue diamond. It is the heart of the ocean. That must be what it's styled on in the film, surely, in Titanic, because it looks exactly like it. It's very beautiful. How do they know it's a diamond and not a sapphire? I don't know. How would you tell?
It's a 45.52 carat blue diamond, the largest blue diamond ever discovered to date.
Wow.
And Hope is the name of the family who owned it from 1824.
It's very beautiful. I would very much like that.
Amazing.
Well, who knew? Probably lots of you would have known.
So
I am sorry that I'm doing so terribly. Dan's going to win that blooming crown, isn't he?
You've started as badly as I did with the
Right,
general knowledge
okay,
questions. We're on to
okay.
question 8. She's got 2 to pull it back. Can she get ahead of me in general knowledge? Here we go. This is a blue question. It's geography. What American city has a district known as Hell's Kitchen?
Okay, can I just answer?
Yes, that's one of the
For a
rules of the game.
two-pointer.
Yes, yes.
Well, I think I know. Unless there's another Hell's Kitchen.
Well, no, that would be impossible, I suppose.
Well, it's New York, isn't it? And I'll tell you why I think it's New York. Because, right, this is random, but on an episode of The Waltons, which I watch regularly, there's this young lad that comes into it that's sort of in like a sort of country rehab centre. I don't even know what is described as in the series, but he said he comes from Hell's Kitchen in New York. It's got to be New York, and I've got to go for a 2-pointer, haven't I? I'm going to go New York.
Locking it in.
Yeah.
Okay. So the multiple choice potential answers were A, Los Angeles, B, Detroit, C, Philadelphia, or D, New York City.
Oh, thank goodness.
Is she correct? Yes, she is! Went for it without hearing the answers. So 2
The Waltons.
points.
The Waltons is the answer to everything. Come on.
So you have gone to 7 points. You were on 5, got your first the general knowledge wrong, second one right without hearing the answers.
Okay.
You were on to 7 points.
Okay.
Question 9.
Yeah.
This is an art and literature question.
Oh, no.
Well, I was stunned at what this question was because
right,
we pull them
okay.
out at random.
We do.
I'm not certain how this is art or literature.
Oh, no, right, okay.
The question is, what name is given to the large part of a church or cathedral situated at the west end of its construction?
Oh, my gosh. You see, I would know this, but I don't know the geography of... Right.
So what name is given to the large part of a church or cathedral situated at the west end of its construction?
The west end.
Yeah.
So they must be situated east-west then?
Yes.
Right, okay. And I don't know whether the entrance is the east or the west. Well, let's think about it. I know that when Time Team are on about graves and things, they always say they're lying east-west. They never say west-east. So if they're lying east-west, you would think that east is the top. So is east the entrance and west at the back? I'm imagining now a cathedral. I'm walking into York Minster. You walk into the nave, don't you? And then you walk down the nave, and then the choir is at the back of the nave. And it's not like the chapter house, because they're kind of always off to the side, aren't they? So it can't be that. It's got to be the nave if you're saying large. How is this art and literature?
Do you feel... I know. Do you feel like you need the multiple choice answer?
Yes.
Are you
Come
sure?
on.
It's up to you. I mean, if you do, take it.
No,
I don't want to force you into it.
I don't know if I've got the nerve for another 2-pointer.
Okay, so you'd like to hear the
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so the choices are A, choir, B, crypt, C, nave, or D, rood loft.
Well, I should have gone for it, shouldn't I? Because it's not the crypt, that's underneath. Because we've been in several crypts in cathedrals and they're underneath. There's something loft, Well, you would presume that that's up high because it's got the word loft. And I wouldn't have thought that that's a large area. Maybe that's where the organ is, I don't know. The choir, I said, didn't I? But the choir, I wouldn't describe as large, and this is saying large, and the nave is always the largest bit. So let's go with the nave.
So you're going C, nave?
Yeah.
Okay, it's locked in. She can't go back now. Is she correct? Yes, she is.
I should have gone for it, shouldn't I? I
8
should have
points.
gone for it.
Yes, you should.
I should have.
Yes.
Yeah, you've taught me nothing, clearly.
Yeah, I have.
Well,
you
you
got
have,
it right.
because I knew,
Well, you got it right. So
apart from the rude loft, what is that?
the rood loft, there used to be a rood screen that used to separate the nave from the choir.
Yes.
Because you weren't supposed to see what was going on in the choir.
Yeah.
Because you weren't, a priest or someone who was worthy of going into the choir. So the rood loft was above the rood screen.
Okay, I've heard of the rude screen now you said that.
Okay, we're on to the speed
Why
round.
say don't be rude? Because you're looking at some, or
I don't
doing
know.
something that you shouldn't, sort of thing.
Maybe it is. I really don't know. So
Okay, we're doing all right.
we're on to the speed round.
Oh,
And it's 3 minutes. So you are. Did we say what score you were on? You're on 8 points.
I'm on 8.
So you're on 8 points.
Right,
as
so
you
I've got
enter
to
the
get
speed
more
round.
than 6, haven't I? Is that right?
8, 9, 10,
No.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's 7.
7, I've got to get more than 7.
Yeah, well, I must have got more than that because I was
You
on.
must have,
I was on
yeah.
6. You're 2 points ahead of me.
Oh, right, okay.
So what is your speed round?
Green.
Green.
I've got to go green, haven't I? Well, you don't know, but I always
I'll
like...
take out a hefty
Oh
chunk.
my gosh, I'm not going to get through that many questions, am I?
Okay, so she's got 3 minutes on the clock. I'll put the right answers here. I'll put the wrong answers here.
I need
And
a
of
cup
course,
tea.
we're adding up the passes in case of a draw.
Okay, so it's better just to guess than pass. Guess than pass.
Yes. Okay.
So just say a random word if you don't know.
Like I did, Graceland. Except it wasn't random.
No, that wasn't random. So, right, I've got to think of a word.
Think of a word, any word. Okay, are you ready?
Door. If I don't know the answer, I'm just going to say that. Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Which element, also called wolfram, can be used as the filament in electric light bulbs?
Titanium.
Tungsten. What would a somatologist want to study if he invited you to his place of work?
Door.
What bottled liquid are Japan's pampered Kobe cattle regularly fed?
Milk.
It's beer.
Yeah.
What effect linked to the increasing quantities of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has been blamed for unusual weather conditions?
Global warming.
Well, yeah, the greenhouse effect.
Yeah.
What word describes a plant or animal that has been produced by parents who are genetically unlike each other?
Don't know. Pass. I'm going to have to pass. I don't know.
What direction are you going if you're following a compass point halfway between southeast, southeast, and south southeast?
North, west, east. I don't know.
With which metal was dentist Robert Arthur the first to fill a cavity in 1855? So what metal did he use? The first ever filling?
Steel.
Gold. How many miles per second must a rocket travel to clear the Earth's gravitational pull?
27,000.
7 miles per second. What metal is mixed with aluminium to produce the strong alloy duralumin?
Titanium. I've said that
Copper.
twice now.
What part of a deer's anatomy were mariner dogs trained to attack?
Legs.
The privates. Why did early sailors take a lodestone to sea?
Pass.
How many teats does a female goat have?
4.
2. What do people have an uncontrollable need to do if they suffer from narcolepsy?
Sleep.
Correct. Which cheese is saltier, brie or camembert?
Camembert.
Brie. What does the abbreviation DC mean to an electrician?
Direct current?
Yeah. What name is given to 2 or more electric cells connected together in a series?
Don't know. Pass.
What name is given to the proteins produced by your body which react with antigens to make them harmless?
Pass.
Antibodies. Of what does the word ahydrons tell you there is an absence?
Blood.
Water.
What?
That's the end.
It didn't make enough. What on earth was that? They were the hardest questions in the world.
Just confirm your colour again for me.
Green?
Yeah, they were green. They were.
Is it me or were those questions ridiculous?
They were ridiculous.
Well, I've lost.
So-
I'm not talking to anyone.
8,
Tell me
9, 10, 11.
Oh, well done me. 11. What were the passes?
So the passes were what name is given to two or more electric cells connected together in a series, that's a battery, and what word describes a plant or animal that has been produced by parents who are genetically unlike each other, that's hybrid.
Oh, right, okay. Well, that's very, very tragically disappointing. Do you all feel a bit sorry for me? Because did anybody else know those questions?
No.
I really hope you're all like, what were those questions? I'm normally really good on green questions. I mean, I'm not
Yes.
normally really good. A question on like...
I swear to you,
It's science and I suppose batteries and stuff. That is science, isn't it? But...
I'm reading the questions and I'm like, I don't even understand what I'm reading.
Oh my goodness. That was just terrible. I'm not even looking at him. I can't even bear it. Wait till I tell Bryony. She's going to be like, what? What went wrong, Mum?
Yes,
I'm
ladies
very
and gentlemen,
happy for Dan.
it's a shocker. It's an absolute shocker. You won the initial ultimate.
Can't even look. Can't even look.
You won the initial ultimate playoff. So that one where we played loads of rounds right the way up until where we played different people and things. So you won that first one, and then I've won the ultimate. I've just remembered more. That's all it was. Oh my goodness.
I don't remember anything these days. I'm blaming menopause. Let's do that.
Look, I want to share it with you because you look way prettier
No,
than me.
because I didn't win it. I'm not allowed.
You don't want it.
I'm not allowed.
Okay.
I can't have it if I didn't win. That's not how it works.
Folks,
I'm going to make myself a pink crown and I'm going to wear that one.
it's a shocking result. Even I'm shocked at the result, to be honest. But, you know, I will wear the crown with a certain amount of pride. Folks, what a series this has been.
I shouldn't be resentful about the fact that Dan won, should I? I should be happy for him.
But we're very competitive.
I should be happy for him.
Yes, but I'm not. We're just competitive. It's what's always kept us, you know.
It's totally
just
fine, of
it's
course.
Fun. It's just a bit of fun. But when we play to win, baby. So yes, I'm the victor. You are the loser. You forfeit the crown, and I get to keep it forever. It's actually a bit warm, so I think I'm going to take it off. Folks, thank you so much for watching all these years. It's been wonderful to be with you.
It has.
Fear not, the end of this, merely makes way for something equally as lovely.
Oh, very exciting.
A little bit different.
Gonna love it.
And it starts when we see you in our next episode of the video show, in our Christmas special. And then it will be back for our usual November run, which is when we always had Knittle Forfeit. So thank you so much for watching this wonderful
I hope you all
quiz
enjoyed.
show.
I'm sure I won more than Dan over
did.
the years.
The finished score would be you winning.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Sometimes the underdog comes through. I'm like the Detroit Lions.
Yes,
The underdog coming through.
Come
Oh,
on,
yes.
Lions.
Yes.
Yes.
So, folks, all that's left for us to say is thanks so much for
I'm
watching.
really sorry, everybody. I feel like I've let you down.
And my final word will be the catchphrase I always used to say at the end of a show. No idea why I used to say this. But yes, we will sign off with, are you ready to knit or forfeit? So that's it. And I think it was an absolute travesty. I won solely on the luck
have no
of
words.
the speed round. I mean, now, long-term viewers of Knit or Forfeit will know I absolutely got done in by a speed round probably a year or two ago. It was history questions, which I thought I'd be golden with. And it's those older questions. I mean, they were just insane.
I object severely to those questions. I think they were terrible questions. Did anybody know the answers to those that I didn't know the answers to?
On the actual, the round up until that point, when we hit the speed round, I was on 6. When Kay hit the speed round, she was on 8. So actually on the questions, she'd won. But look, I was the winner at the end of the day. The rules were laid out.
I text Bryony straight away and she went, what? possible?
We do, of course, jest. Kay was magnanimous in defeat. I don't even know what that word means. That might be a bad thing, so we best not use that word.
Okay. I don't think it's a bad word.
No, I don't think so either. But, I mean, who knows? You used to say enigmatic in the wrong setting.
I know, I still don't know what it means.
Well, it doesn't mean what you think it
I know,
means. So
it sounds like it should mean something positive.
No, you can't work someone out. If they are an enigma,
right?
They are enigmatic.
I get enigma,
yes,
but enigmatic. I don't know. It sounds like somebody's like, oh, lovely and
look. That is the end. We're closing the chapter on Knit or Forfeit. It has been wonderful, and the shows will always be available for our Bakery Bear patrons to watch, the gold edition, so they are always there. And who knows what the future may bring. Speaking of the future, what replaces Knit or Forfeit? We'll talk about a tiny bit at the end of the show, but we won't give away anything much at all, because it's nice to have a nice surprise at Christmas or a Christmas special. But the replacement for Knit or Forfeit will debut in our next video show.
Yeah.
Now, look. We have a prize question.
Yes, we do.
And the prize question was about spinning wheels.
It was about spinning wheels.
When did they first appear? Or when do people think they first appeared?
No, where, wasn't it?
Yeah, where, not when. Because it was between 500 and 1000 CE.
Gosh, right.
So it was a question, I think, was it from 2019 you said that you asked?
Oh,
I think so.
Possibly, yes.
Something
sounds
like
right.
that. So it was a question that Kay had asked me back in a past Knit or Forfeit. She asked all of you at home. And there were 4 different answers.
Yeah.
And we had lots of different answers.
And it was where did the spinning wheel originate?
Yes.
Yes.
And we had lots of different answers.
Did we?
Yeah, because actually it transpires that there's some argument over where the spinning...
There is?
Yeah. Now...
Well, I'm sure I got it off Wikipedia.
Well, I can tell you absolutely where our source is. It's the National Museum of American History.
Oh, right, okay.
If you go onto the National Museum of American History, you will find the answer to this question.
Right.
Also, there are lots and lots and lots of other sources that give you the same answer to this question.
Right, okay.
But there are other sources which give you a different answer to the question.
I suppose when it's that long ago...
Yes.
You know...
What we have to go with is, we have to go with the answer which was acceptable back in 2019, which you asked me.
Yeah.
I don't know, can't remember if I got it right or if I got it wrong.
I don't remember.
I've waffled on way too long. The folks at home just want to know where it was. Yeah. And the answer was...
India.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, by random number, we drew 3 viewer prizes.
Yes.
And 3 patron prizes.
Yes.
And I can tell you, and I've contacted all these people already, if you haven't seen the contact, I have contacted you. And I've done it, I've contacted each of you via the thread that you posted on. So you posted on our Patreon page, and I've contacted you via there, okay? So, because that's the only way I can contact you, because I don't have your email address.
No, that's right.
So the viewer winners are Lucy Dean, Jackie Intveld, and Darla.
Oh, Darla?
Yes. I thought that was
gosh.
cool. Yes.
Darla from Buffy. Wow, it's like tell Brownie.
So, viewers, you have won a free copy of the Yuletide scarf.
Yes.
Amazing.
Absolutely. So, free copy for you.
Once you've let us know how you would like it, you will receive it.
Yeah. So, if you're one of those people and you haven't seen it, they need to just go and look and then let us know if you want it on Ravelry or if you want me to email it to you.
And the 3 patron winners who have immediately had their current month's subscription refunded, so they've had a free month subscription.
Cool.
Is Dorian, Rosemary Chapman, and Lisa Lessard.
Oh my gosh, Lisa. Oh, we know Lisa really well. How lovely.
What a poetic way to finish Knit or Forfeit, because you may recall that in the celebrity round of Knit or Forfeit, I played Lisa's daughter.
That's right.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so cool. So it's sort of tied up in a nice little bow.
Happy memories. Yeah.
And for those people who said different answers, who could argue that you were also right, dependent on what archaeological evidence you look at.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have to, like we've said, go with the research that was done for the original question. And also, if you go online and you type in where... Yes, good, I did say it right that time. where did the spinning wheel originate? The vast majority of hits do say India.
Right,
And the first
okay.
hit that certainly I got every time I did it was the place which we got our source from, and that is the National Museum of American History. So blame them if you're not happy. But thank you all for taking part. We had a massive response.
We did.
So
thank you, everybody.
Thrilled, to involve you all, and wonderful.
And a lovely way to end
Yes.
Knit or Forfeit.
Absolutely a lovely
With
way
a few
to end.
prizes.
Yes, 6 lovely prizes.
6 lovely prizes.
Come on.
Yay.
You know what points mean? Prizes.
Yay. Great show that was.
It's time for me to say, Kay Jones, what's off your needles?
So I've only got one thing off my needles this time because I was casting on all the things.
Yes.
I need to get some stuff finished next time, but we shall see. So the one thing I finished is this lovely pair of socks. So I showed you these last time. So these are DK weight socks using the very lovely Drops Fiesta. My obsession is still not over with that. I'm definitely going to go back and do another pair. But yeah, these are DK weight, is the Drops Fiesta. This lovely green colour is Herb Garden, and the red is just called Red. But I just think they look like the most festive socks ever, don't they? Just so lovely. So I used 48 stitches and a 3.25mm needle. I used double points. Just, there's no pattern as such. It's just a plain vanilla sock. I just did, I think it was 8 rounds, 2x2 for the cuff. And I think there was 18 rounds on the leg. I did my butterfly heel, which was effectively a slightly adapted one because I don't have it in a DK weight pattern. And then my umbrella toe, which is from the Choose Your House socks. So they're all finished and ready to add to my sock stash. Because my sock stash is now complete and I thought I would run through the socks.
Amazing.
Isn't that fun?
Yes.
So sock
when are
stash.
they allowed to see them?
They can see them now.
Oh, yes. Look at those.
Whilst I just quickly tell you that Sock Stash is a year-long knit-along that we've been doing for the last 2 years with our patrons, and it's been voted that they want to do it again next year, so we are going to do it for a 3rd year. Sock Stash will come back in 2025. Basically, it's just a knit-along for knitting all the socks. So you can use it in whatever way you want, but the idea is that you stash these socks away, and then come December, you can then pull them out and they can either be a gift to yourself, which is what mine are, or you can use them as Christmas gifts or whatever you want to do. So yeah, this pair that I've just shown you is pair number 12 for my sock stash. So I thought it would be fun just to run through all of the socks. So in no particular order, I will just quickly go through them. So we've got another pair of DK weight here. These are my waffle socks. This was a design from this year. It was a platinum design from this year. So these are DK weight and just lovely. I've then got, I'm going to try and do them in colour order. These ones, you might remember, these are my incantation socks that I knit for our Sockaween event in October. And this yarn is from 3 by the Sea Designs. And it didn't have a colourway. It was one of their salty sock sets, so a one-of-a-kind sort of colourway, but isn't it beautiful and perfect for Sockaween? I've then got this lovely pair. These are all shorties, by the way, because I really love short socks. This pair, this is just a 2x2 broken rib, and I used some deep stash for this. You might remember these. It's quite a recent pair. There is 2. I'm just showing you sort of one, but there's always 2.
Isn't it funny how you always like short socks but tall husbands?
I know. Tall husbands. I've just got the one.
A tall husband.
Just the one, Mrs. Wembley. Yes, so this yarn was deep stash and it was from Fondant Fibre, lovely Deb. And this was a colourway that she dyed up exclusively for me when I knit my Ollivander shawl, and I used it in that, and I had an extra skein. So they're beautiful. So this is the next pair, and I'm completely blanking on what yarn this is. And this is excellent, isn't it, for somebody who can't remember a thing right now? Somebody out there can remember this. What yarn is this? Did I dye this? I don't even remember.
Knittle Forfeit continues.
Anyway, it's this beautiful pink pair.
Here are some socks.
Okay.
I think I knitted them.
Next pair. These ones are spring shorties. This is one of my designs that I put out in the spring. It's a lovely sort of textured lace pattern. And I'm pretty sure, did I dye this yarn? I think I did. Once again, memory fails me. But yeah, spring shorties, really pretty peachy pair. I've then got a plain vanilla. Is this my only plain vanilla pair? No, there's another one. Why are you laughing?
Because I'm thrilled it's a vanilla sock. You don't need to remember what it is.
I know, I don't need to remember. I'm going to have to write these down next year.
Oh, vanilla socks. I love you so much.
I'm going to have to write them down and pin it to each of the pairs of socks.
Yeah.
Look, I know all the women out there can just relate to me.
Absolutely.
Going through this nonsense.
Yes.
Why women have to go through all of this nonsense, I don't even know.
Yeah, I know.
Nature sucks sometimes. So yeah, this lovely pair. Just a vanilla pair of socks. This is Sherry Iris yarn. And yeah, can't remember the colourway name, obviously. But it's lovely. Plain vanilla, very nice. We've then got a pair of prairie socks, which is my design, one of my earliest sock designs. So some pink prairie socks, and I'm sure that I dyed this yarn as well. Lovely. And then we've got this pair, which you saw recently. This is another DK weight. This is the Drops Fiesta, and this is rainbow sprinkles with cerise as the contrast. You see, I can remember it when it's just happened. We've then got this massively neon pair. Oh my gosh. And this is Somerset Yarns, and it was the Belle colourway. I love these. I can't wait to wear them. I think they're going to be so fun. It's actually way more neon than it's showing on the screen there. It's gone very bright outside, so it's washing it. You'll be glad that you can't see exactly the brightness. We've then got this pair, which is a very Hobbit Christmas that I'm now knitting into my super scrappy, stripy, skinny scarf. I added another S there, didn't I? And aren't these lovely? I love these. I can't wait to wear these ones. So yeah, that's Moustache Yarns, a very Hobbit Christmas. And I just put in a little texture pattern into that. And then the final pair is actually the very first pair that I made for Sock Stash, and it's this pair. So the pink is Eden Cottage Yarns, and it's the Milburn 4-ply base. And then this little stripe is leftovers of a yarn I've still not been able to cake up, and it's right here. I can get it actually. These are London House yarns, and it's the very precious Yule Ball. And I've still not been able, as you can see, I've still not been able to bring myself to cake this up and use it because she's not dying right now. And I just love, this has got to be my all-time favourite self-striping yarn. There's something about it. I just love this combination of colours. And I've just never been able to bring myself to use it because I don't know if it will ever exist again. Will she ever die again? I don't know. But I had some leftovers from a pair I made Bryony, so I just popped it in there. And that's all of my sock stash.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much for that.
12 pairs. Yay me.
That's amazing.
Look at this present I've got to myself. Look at this. Wow. I can't wait to wear them.
So what happens next, Kay?
What happens next?
Well, about 25 years ago,
Yes. Oh.
I was a professional musician working in theatres all across the north of England. And very sort of early on in my career, I met the guy who would very quickly become my best friend.
Yeah.
And over the years, he's been my best man.
Yes.
He's also been the godfather to our daughter Bryony.
Yeah.
And most of all, he's been the guy who I could always turn to no matter what. And whenever we talk, it's like no time has passed.
Yeah.
And he's actually my only really true friend.
He's the loveliest.
Apart from you.
Oh, apart from me. And he is truly one of the loveliest people that we know,
Now, over the years, because Luke has always been very interested in what I'm doing, and similarly interested in what he's doing. And he's always been super interested in knitting. And I've always sort of said to him, it's getting more and more popular, you know, in the UK. It really is. So imagine his surprise when he got cast for the first time in his career as a lead in London's West End, you know, top of the tree, when one of his co-stars turned out to be a knitter. So he's on the phone to me and he's like, would you believe it? And he said, would you like me to interview him for you? And I'm like, yes, please. So, shall we head off to the bright lights of London? Shall we go to the theatres of the West End, backstage, and shall we sit down for an interview with a rather surprising knitter?
Thanks, Dan. So I'm led to believe that knitting is an art form that's become more and more popular in the UK. And when I joined the cast of Mamma Mia, I noticed that one of the dads, Chris Dickens, was a very keen knitter. So I thought I'd sit down with him in between shows and ask him a few questions about it all. Enjoy. Chris Dickens.
I'm so excited about this.
Thanks for doing this.
I get to talk about knitting. This is so fantastic. Normally I bore people when I do this, but we've got people who love knitting, so ask me questions.
Brilliant. Okay, well, let's start with you just telling us a little bit about yourself and then how you became a knitter.
Yes, so I'm a professional actor, as you know. I've been acting in musicals and West End shows and plays for 30 years or so. I've only been knitting for about 10 years, and that all started because I was in a show called Warhorse, which was a show, it was about 10 years ago, I was doing that. And the thing about being an actor is that you spend a lot of time in a dressing room, but you don't spend huge lengths of time in the dressing room. You come up to the dressing room, you change your costume in the middle of the show, and then you've got something like 7 minutes to do nothing until you've got to be down on the stage, and you've got to listen out for the tannoy to hear when your time is. So you can't really do anything that involves you too much. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people just sort of sit twiddling their thumbs in dressing rooms, or they, I don't know, might do a crossword, or they doom scroll on their mobile phones. And I'm someone who gets quite fidgety, so I've always had difficulty about that aspect of doing it. Anyway, when I did this show Warhorse, there were a couple of people who were in the cast who were knitters, and I thought, I just found myself really fascinated in what they were doing. And so one of them, bless her, she lent me a couple of her needles and she got me started on a hat, and I knitted round and round and round, and I didn't know, but at one point I went completely in the opposite direction, so this won't mean anything to you, but a stocking stitch then suddenly became a garter stitch, and I didn't. She said, oh, that's all right, just keep going, it's called a mistake, it's all part of the character of the hat. And she showed me how to make the hat, and I finished this hat, and it just blew my mind. I loved it. And then I sort of took the plunge, went to John Lewis, got myself a book on knitting for men, and I also got a load of yarn and some knitting needles, and off I went, and I have never looked back.
No, that's good, man. That's good. What is it specifically that you enjoy about knitting?
There are lots of things I love about it. One of the things, it's something to do with my hands. I'm quite a fidgety person, and I love the feel of doing it. It's very soothing, and I'll do it when watching the television. Nowadays, I find watching television quite hard if I don't have something to knit at the same time. I'm quite a creative person because I sing and dance and I act and I write things, but I've never been any good at visual stuff, so I can't draw or model. So to be able to construct something that looks beautiful and colourful, even if I haven't designed it, is fantastic. That really feels great to me. So that's really the things. And the fact that you can just pick it up and do a little bit of it and then put it down and not have to worry about it is great compared with other creative endeavours where you have to sort of psych yourself into it and give quite a bit of a long period of time. Yeah. I love that about it. You can just pick it up and put it down, pack it away in a bag.
I find it definitely has become more popular within our industry, and I wonder whether that's something to do with the fact that it's a moment of calm in what we would consider quite chaotic, unpredictable industry. Would you say that's possible?
Quite possible. I think that's definitely plausible. I find it soothes me hugely to knit. I also think people think differently now about traditional crafts. It used to be seen as something, you're either fashionable or you were square, and that people who had some sort of geeky craft were thereby square, and therefore fashionable people didn't do those sorts of things. But I think now we've come to realise that it's actually very cool to be in touch with these wonderful crafts that have been handed down generations. And we no longer are so judgmental about people who have really unusual interests and do things for the joy of doing it for themselves. And I think we're better at doing stuff that we love and admitting to ourselves, yeah, I love this and I don't care what people think, I'm going to do it.
That's good. Okay, next question. What's the best thing you've ever knitted, and what is your favourite type of thing to knit?
Oh, wow, okay. The best thing I ever knitted, until very recently, it was this amazing cabled sweater by... well, this is from the Brooklyn Tweed. The pattern is from Brooklyn Tweed. And the cabling is all this twisting stuff, which I just loved doing because you get to twist yarns around themselves. And you can see there's the big twisting here, the big cabling here, and then the little cables here that are also on the sleeves. This is the first thing that when I actually put it on, I knitted it for myself. The first thing that I put it on, it actually fitted. And I was like, oh my God. Because what often happens with jumpers is you knit and knit and knit. You spend months of your life doing it. You put it on, and you look like Dobby the house elf because it just doesn't fit. And this actually knitted, so I was really proud of that. Anyway, but I'm sorry, I'm going to give you two answers to the question, because the other best thing, which I have been told by my husband is the best thing I've ever knitted, is this Fair Isle sweater called Forest Fair Isle. And the pattern is available on the Paintbox Yarns. And he liked this so much that he demanded that I make one for him as well. So I'm now at home. My home project is a bigger one for him in slightly different colours, so we don't look like terrible twins. But yeah, there's a second half. The favourite type of thing to knit. I don't know. I like knitting all stuff. Jumpers are very special, but there is that gamble that it takes such a long time, and then when you put it on, if you don't really like the way it looks, that's sort of quite a lot of your time kind of down the drain. So you have to choose a jumper projects quite carefully. I do really like knitting hats because you can do them so quickly. And there are certain hat patterns that I've done over and over again. And things like hats and gloves, there's a lovely glove pattern which I do, which has got cabling on the tops of the hands, which I absolutely love doing. I've made, and it doesn't matter if they break, because you use them every day, because I do wear them every day in cold weather, because you just make another set. It's great.
So good. Right. Do you have a favourite type of yarn?
At the moment, my go-to yarn actually has been for quite a while. Is the thing that I made this out of, which is it's called Blue Sky Woolstock, and it's made by Blue Sky Fibres. This is a top tip for anybody who's knitting for men. This is a slightly traditional male-female gendered point of view, but bear with me because I think this is true of a lot of men. Men are not used to feeling uncomfortable in order to look good. Okay, so if you're knitting for a man, do not knit him something that is itchy around the neck, because he will go, oh, how lovely, that's nice, but he will never wear it. He will always wear his fleece instead. I think women are more used to feeling a little bit uncomfortable, like with high-heeled shoes or with corsets traditionally. It's more of a tradition in, you've got to suffer to look good. Men have never had to do that, really. So you've got to make sure the most important thing when knitting for a man is something that's comfortable. And the great thing about this yarn is it's soft. It's 100% wool, and it's Scottish Highland wool, but it is the softest stuff imaginable. And I wear this every day. This is a lovely scarf called Leander, which is I just wear this every day, and it's like being given a massive great hug every time I put it on. I love this stuff, and you can get this from Tribe Yarns, which is a really nice family firm in Scotland who stock it. So yeah, Blue Sky Fibre. That's what it's called. Blue Sky. That one is called Woolstock. Yeah, can't recommend. They've got lovely colours as well. Lovely range of colours.
What about needles? Do you have a favourite type of needles?
Well, I have never knitted in anything that was not circular needles. And when I first started knitting, it was a hat on a circular needle. So that's needles that's connected with a bit of plastic in between. And what's great about that is that when you're knitting, if you're wanting to stuff it into a bag, you don't need to worry about them falling off the needle. You can just pull the tips of the needles out, and the work will sit on the plastic joiner bit, and it's just a lot safer for it. I'm sure people who do use the traditional needles have their own ways of avoiding that themselves. The thing about circular needles is that you can do circular stuff with it, or you can do traditional knitting with it, so I've never seen any need to go on to the other ones. I have used double pointed needles, DPNs, for some like small sleeve work when you're doing spirals in a very small area, or on fingers for gloves, and they're great, they're really good fun, but I just always get really nervous whenever I pack it away into my bag that all the work is gonna fall off the needles and slide off. So yeah, circular needles every time, that's what I do.
What about a favourite pattern designer?
Yeah, the thing about patterns is it's funny when you go online, when you go onto lots of the websites, particularly those that market yarn, a lot of the patterns, nearly every pattern is for a woman or a baby, which is great if you have a woman or a baby in your life, but I mainly knit for myself. So I really value those websites that have a lot of male patterns in them. And Brooklyn Tweed and Jared Flood, who's their head designer there, I just love their stuff. Their patterns are always beautifully well written. Everything's explained very, very well. The patterns are lovely designs as well. They have lots of men's patterns, lots of women's patterns, and also loads of patterns which they have both men and women modelling them. So they're unisex, they're gender neutral, hats, scarves, pullovers, everything. I love their stuff, and they've got a nice ethical sensibility as well. So that's always my go-to place for new patterns.
Okay, great. Okay, so final question. Christopher Dickens, what's on your needles?
Well, since before the pandemic, so like 5 years, if not more. And this is something that it's not the only thing I've been knitting. In that time, I've knitted other things, and I keep coming back and to this project because it is so intensive. It is something called Il Burato, and it's a knit by my great friend Nathan, who is otherwise known as the Sockmatician. He's a performer like me, and he performs in musicals. His speciality is something called double knitting, where it's actually double-sided. So if you notice, the design on this side is exactly the same as the design on the other side, but in reverse. You work with two yarns at the same time. As I go along the row, I'm knitting this side, and I'm purling the other side. So each side presents as stocking stitch, but whereas stocking stitch normally curls at the sides, this is completely straight, lies completely straight. This is going to be the most stunning scarf when I finish it. I cannot wait for it to be finished. The other thing about it takes forever because A, it's so intricate, B, I can't be watching television while I'm doing this because I have to be studying the pattern all the time, and C, it's a very light yarn, a very thin yarn. It's like sock yarn, so it just takes forever to do. Each stitch is absolutely minuscule, but it means that it's actually, because it's double-sided, it's still quite thick, even though either side is quite thin. But because you're knitting one side and purling the other side, you're passing both yarns to the front and to the back. It weaves in with each other, so it's like one bit of knitting, but double-sided. It's all-consuming. I absolutely love it, but it's probably going to be 2026 by the time I finish it, though I still promise myself it'll be ready by Christmas.
Well done, Chris. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for that. I'm sure they love that. That's brilliant. Thank you for that.
Oh, lovely to talk about knitting.
There we go. Hope you enjoyed that. I found that really interesting, actually. I learned a lot. Thanks again to Chris for doing that. This is Luke Jastel in Mamma Mia in the West End, handing back to Dan and Kay in the studio.
Can you believe it?
How cool is that?
What was so funny was when Kay and I sat down to look at the raw footage which Luke sent through, we were like, oh, you know, he's a knitter.
We didn't know
We're
what
like,
kind of a knitter he was.
He's a knitter. And then he pulls up that colourwork jumper.
And the cable jumper was the first thing we saw. And I was sat over here and Dan was playing it over there and I was watching it and I stood up and walked over. I went, hang on a minute.
This guy really is a knitter.
He really is a knitter. My goodness.
So huge thank you to Chris Dickens for sitting down with Luke.
Thank you so much, Chris.
I mean, it's wonderful, Chris, that you looked so thrilled and excited.
I know.
To be talking
How excited was he?
Which is just brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, you're among friends here, Chris, definitely. But so much thanks goes to Luke for offering to do this. And also, huge, Luke... He keeps his star under a
He really
great
does.
big
He's a
bush.
very humble person.
Unbelievably humble person.
Yeah.
Because Luke, some of you might have, I mean, you know, the chances are slim.
You might
but
have seen Luke.
He's actually toured the world in a number of different productions. He actually came to the US. He toured all over the US in the Blues Brothers. It wasn't in one of the main parts. He was understudying one of the main parts. But you may well have seen him because he played Chicago, actually. He played,
Right.
you know, some really sort of classic venues because Chicago's a big place for Blues Brothers. But anyway, Luke, huge thanks to you. And we're hoping, actually, that we're going to see Luke some point in the new year.
Yeah, we're
which would
hoping
be-
to get down and see Mamma Mia.
So, I mean, just amazing. So thank you so much. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And yes, what a wonderful way to
Fantastic.
sort of gloss over the end of Knit or Forfeit with something brand new immediately.
Yeah, I know.
And now, can you believe it? It's time for the Endy Bits.
Endy Bits.
So, our Christmas edition of Knitability is out right now.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Our wonderful editor, Jen,
Jen's done an amazing job.
who also is a presenter now with the Bakery Bears, and she was with us for our patron exclusive
She was.
Advent pre-launch party
Yeah.
because she's been reviewing yarns for us all year. She did a wonderful little segment, didn't she?
did, yeah,
where she was
she
showing
did.
her favourite of the year. So that was really
She was
cool.
in her new craft room in her new house, and it's
Yes.
got pink walls, and it
Yes.
was fabulous.
It really was fabulous. So yes, that edition that Jen has edited, it's got in patterns from Kay, articles from me about the legend of Terrington Bank.
Oh, yes.
You know, the legend of Terrington Bank, I'm going to be exploring it for real for the first time. It actually ended up being about 40 years I hadn't been to this spot.
wow.
And when I got back to this spot, I remembered it perfectly. It was the site of a legendary event involving Nana Wendy, my mum, a sledge, and a horrific sledging accident.
It's like an NFL football
Yes.
player accident she had. Yeah.
It is a legend in my family. I wrote about it in the edition of Knitability, and it was wonderful talking to my mum about it because she'd forgotten an awful lot about it, and things started to come back to her. And it was only through talking to her that she actually remembered that when it happened was New Year's Eve
Gosh.
in 1983, we think.
Imagine having to go to A&E on
Yes,
New Year's Eve.
that's why she remembers it. But there's also there's interviews, wonderful interviews, article from Jen, articles from patrons. It's a bumper issue, always our biggest issue of the year.
Yeah.
So that's available right now. Did you buy some yarn?
I did buy some yarn.
I don't know why I said that question.
Yeah, I know.
Did you buy some yarn?
You could just ask me that randomly
No, I
any day
didn't
of the
then.
week,
Yes.
and the answer would probably be yes.
There's a
but-
knock at the door. What's that? I've no idea. Go and answer it. It's some yarn, Kate. Oh yeah. I did order that.
I sort of forget. I sort of sleep order sometimes.
Yes.
Anybody else do that?
But it will never beat when you forgot that you ordered. Or did you forget? What happened with that? With that advent calendar?
Oh, I did forget about it. But
And
then
then
I
she sent you a
remembered.
message, didn't
Yeah,
she?
and then actually I remembered, and then I got a message the next day to say it had been dispatched. It was really spooky. It's like I sort of sensed it. But yeah, when you order something and it's ages ago, you forget, don't you? And you know, advent calendars is months. That's my excuse anyway. But yes, because of my scrappy, stripy, skinny, scarfy thing, I wanted some more self-striping yarn because not only to contribute to the scarf, but I wanted to just have some in stock because I know how much Bryony loves them. So I wanted a sort of nice little cross section of different types of striping yarn, and I thought, oh, I'm going to go and have a look at Fab Funky Fibres because I haven't looked for a while. And I'll see what colourway she has. It's Elaine that runs it, and she's actually incredibly local to us. She's not far away from us at all. And I had a look, and of course she had loads of colours that were really lovely. So I ordered a few, and she sent me something extra, which I'm going to show you. But the first one I got, she does, which is what a lot of self-striping dyers I've noticed do these days, which I think is brilliant, is they do like half skeins. So a 50 gram self-striping and a 20 gram mini. And I think that's great because then there's not much leftovers for me. I mean, I couldn't knit a pair of socks for Dan out of it, but 70 grams is enough for me or Bryony. So the first one I got is this, which is so lovely, and it's gingerbread treats. So it's this festive gorgeousness. So it's this gingerbread colour with these sort of sugary looking stripes, and the coloured stripes are really skinny. So I think that will look great with some fairgrounds. And then you've got a matching mini. I've then got this one, which is a summery colour. It's Tutti Frutti. There wasn't a mini to go with this, but I'm sure I'll have a mini within my stash that will go. And it's all of these like seasidey pastel colours, so lilac and pink and mint and gold. Just gorgeous. That's Tutti Frutti. And then this one I had to have because it's space themed, and the wrapper, the ball band, has got Star Trek characters on, and Bryony wants the wrapper. So this one is called Adventures in Space. So it's black with like pink and grey and mint and yellow. Oh my goodness. So this is the next pair that Bryony wants, and she wants this for her scrapbook. But Elaine very kindly added in an extra sock set, and she said, you know, I can use it for prizes or giveaways or whatever. So I wanted to show you. I've not got anything specific in mind I'm going to use this for yet, but I wanted to show it to you because it's so pretty, and I did almost buy this one. But because I'd got 3 already, I thought, no, I better not do. But this one's called Cozy Christmas. And with this, there's 2 50 grams. So it's 100 grams plus a mini in the sort of snow colour. But it's these pastel colours. It's just so pretty. If you go on to Elaine's website, Fab Funky Fibres, there's images of what these look like knit up, which I think is brilliant. So this one I'm going to use at some point on the show as a prize or a giveaway. But I wanted to show it to you because it's so pretty. Oh, it's so lovely. Look, it's so pretty.
Cool.
So yeah, can't wait.
Speaking of cosy Christmases, come and join us for the Bakery Bears Advent Calendar.
Absolutely.
Because it starts in like 48 hours.
Oh my goodness.
There's a link in the show notes below that it tells you exactly what to do if you want to come and find out more. Also as well, we'll be posting our Advent Calendar first look.
Yeah.
Actually, we'll have posted it by now.
Oh.
So we always do, around about Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
we always post the first look properly to our channel. So that's there as well. So again, that's got full details in how you can come and join us for Advent.
And we didn't say Happy Thanksgiving to all of our US
Happy Thanksgiving
friends.
to all of our US friends.
Just happened. So I hope you all had a fantastic time.
Absolutely. And we will see you in 2 weeks for our last show of the year.
Oh my goodness.
Which will be our Christmas special, which will feature a brand new...
Yes.
It's going to be immense. I'm not going to say too much more.
You'll love it.
2 of us together.
Yes.
Doing some marvellous things.
You're going to love it.
Talking about some wonderful things.
Yes.
And also some wonderful sights to see along the way. Oh yes, it's going to be amazing.
It is.
So thank you so much for watching.
Thanks everybody.
And we'll see you
Have
in 2 weeks.
Have a great 2 weeks.
For a Christmas celebration.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.
Sitting and knitting, it's Dan and Kay, the bakery bears. Enthusiasm's not quitting for Dan and Kay, the bakery bears. They'll take you to fabulous places of which their favorites they'll share. You better buy a pattern and get yourself a bakery bear. You'll find yourself in a castle while watching the bakery bears. It never feels like a hassle to sit and watch the bakery bears. What's on your shelf or what's in your heart?